Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for High Velocity Radio.
Welcome to the High Velocity Radio Show, where we celebrate top performers producing better results in less time. Stone Payton here with you this afternoon. You guys are going to enjoy this one. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast relationship coach, HR professional, and enthusiastic change ambassador, Tereza Bansky. How are you?
Hi, Stone. I'm doing very well. How about you?
I am doing great, and I've really been looking forward to this conversation. Tereza, I have a list of questions. I'm sure we won't get to them all, but before we even start there, I have to say, I really think you may be our first and only relationship coach. So I'm interested in mission, purpose. How are you out there really trying to help people?
My pleasure to be here. Thank you. I'm a relationship coach with a long career in human resources, helping people, working with people, supporting them to thrive. And, I learned that relationship really matters and they strengthening our quality of life and have direct impact on our happiness. And I don't know, it just ended up and it found my heart, found it being a relationship coach. And I really enjoy being in with my clients and support them to live a better relationships, be happier, be more comfortable, be themselves. And I have a special niche, which is helping people who are impacted by infidelity in their life to find a way out and have a life they really want to have.
I would think that would be a very difficult time for everyone involved. That seems like it would be a real challenge. How do people even find you? Can you do traditional sales and marketing type stuff, or is it people you get referred? How does that work?
People involved in affair usually don't share very publicly. They are not very vocal about that, obviously. But people search on internet what other stories are, what help others, and I'm sharing publicly. In media, and I send some blog and sharing some experience, so people can find me online. But the most often source of my clients are through referral. So you are in a difficult situation, you share with your best friend and they help you to give a tip. Okay, there is someone, ask for help, go to professional, if it's coach or therapist. So most often I'm found by clients through referrals.
Now, do you feel, or has it been your observation that infidelity is more common now than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or do we know really?
I don't have data about it, but my honest opinion is it's not different from the past. Affairs been here always and most probably will be in the future. What I observe now is that we talk about it a little bit more. So you can access more information, more data, you hear more stories. There is lots of literature on the market and a lot of courses that help people to go out. I think it's more vocal, it's more normalized, but infidelity was here forever.
Yeah, I suspect you're right about that. So what can a person expect in working with you? What does that look like?
It's never the same. I customize the process and actually create a process together with my clients. My potential clients have free 30-minute session to get to know me, experience my style, ask any question, and check if I might be the right partner for them. If that clicks, we start to design our alliance. We set up goals and we jump in. We start to work. So when I'm coaching, my priority is to first create a safe space, safe environment for clients to be really comfortable to deeply dive in and start exploring and make step-by-step actions. I'm often curious, sometimes provoking, but I seek to understand where clients are stuck with their perspective or stuck with emotions that hold them back. And I love to challenge them to really go out of the comfort zone, which that complex relationship is itself. But I love my clients to find a little tiny step even further that it's getting them closer to what they really want to move on, but they need to be ready. Um, there's lots of tools. It depends. Some tools I don't use with some client, and I use the other ones with others. But my favorite tool is embodiment. Our bodies are pretty smart, and I help my clients to understand their body more and listen to their body response, seek intuition. And, you know, if we are in love or in complex, difficult relationship that is painful, we use a lot our head, our mind, our rational thinking, but it's usually confusing, and we need to get connected with our body to understand what we really want.
So, do some topics come up in these conversations more than others? Or there's some topics you almost always know are going to find their way into the conversation?
Hmm. Clients in a fair have something in common. So it's always about relationship and difficult relationship. But yes, there are some similarities. Typical example can be, I'm married, I fell in love with somebody else, I'm completely stuck about what I want and what to do. This is usual start of our conversation. Or someone reach out like, I experienced affair, I ended it because it was right thing to do, but it's still hard, not happy. um, I don't have my energy, so they need help to still process the whole situation and maybe change some things in their life to be happy again in their relationship.
I wonder, it's probably a pretty long list, but I'm going to ask anyway, just in general, what brings people into affairs? Like, why?
Hmm. It's a very good question, Stone. And I don't have a simple answer, but I'm learning from my clients that affairs are the result of dysfunctioning relationship, or it's a symptom of something. And my role is to help my clients to understand what is behind the symptom, what they want, what they need, what is missing in their life that brings them to affair. And I'm learning from the stories that it often doesn't relate to their primary relationship. It's just about them. If I give you an example, like one of my clients, male in his 30s, he's married, 2 kids, he has quite peaceful marriage, and he fell in love with his colleague at work. Very simple scenario. He felt super guilty about what he is doing. He knew it was wrong and he's risking a lot. He was 100% sure he didn't want to leave his wife and a family. Still, he wasn't able to end this parallel relationship. Felt completely alone, lost, under pressure of the dilemma. And that was the moment he reached out, he found me, and we started to explore what his new partner represents for him, how he feels with her, what he admires about her. and really deep work of exploration. And he mentioned he first noticed her when she was presenting her trip to India and about her climbing experience to base camp somewhere in a mountain. Long story short, she represented what he always dreamt of and he never tried. His dream was to mountaineer and climb high mountains on expedition. It represents for him some kind of freedom, courage, a sense of pride, values that he didn't honor in his primary relationship. Not on purpose, but he find out it was very important and it was missing in his life. Of course, he liked the body shape, his girlfriend, and he found very easy to connect one with each other. But he fell in love to her because she had something he was missing in his life, and he never tried to build for himself. And just this understanding was a breaking point for him to understand himself and understanding about his needs. And we could start to, considering small steps and action that he could integrate in his life, in his primary relationship, to feel himself and feel more free, proud, courageous, and not to seek it outside of his primary relationship and family. So it's just a simple example.
No, that's such an important insight because I think maybe like many, I guess I was attaching most of it to physical attraction. And it sounds like that so often that's really not the main thing, is it? Interesting.
It's not, because if it's just a physical thing, we most probably find a different solution or we change partners often. But what holds us in affair and parallel relationship is the connection. We get really close, we get emotionally involved. And this is why it's so difficult to cut it off, to leave that relationship.
Yeah. So do you find yourself working with the other person, the betrayed partner? I guess is that the right term? The other maybe not at the same time. I don't know. I'll ask that question too. If you ever work with a couple, but do you talk about working with the betrayed partner, if that's the right term?
I do. I work with disloyal partners, betrayed ones, but also with the third parties, not with all together. But my way, that with individuals. Sometimes I work with couples with the primary
really?
partners, but it has a special condition. But speaking about betrayed partners, how we work together, again, it depends on what the intention of the client is. Generally, I help client to process the incredible amount of emotions that is there. There's pain, there is betrayal, sadness, disappointment, jealousy, anger. There is a lot. And I'm trying to lead my clients to understand that such experience requires complete redesign of their relationship. Because if they want to stay together after affair, it's not possible to continue from the point before the affair started. Technically, such a relationship ends, and both partners needs to be willing to build a new relationship with a strong foundation, rebuild trust, renew intimacy, create shared meaning. But first, betrayed partner needs to process all the pain and emotions that are coming with that situation.
And then you mentioned you also do some work or are available to work with the third party. Again, not all together. That would be a reality show. But the third party, there's work to be done there too, isn't there?
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this topic. it's not often to talk about the third ones. Usually, all the conversations are focused on the primary couple. But being involved in an affair as a third party, it's usually the same amount of stress like for the primary couple.
Yeah.
Being third is not something you usually plan or desire. It just happens. It happens very quickly. Typically, deep connection appears, high attraction between partners, desire, support. Partners starts to be like really feel seen, understood. They get fresh energy and just feel alive, and it's sexy. I have the right energy. You are alive,
Mm.
and it's magic formula to keep going in that complex relationship. Even your mind knows it's not right. It doesn't go in the right direction. There is a lot of troubles, pain, risks. And mistress or lover quickly desire to be on the first place in the relationship and build a primary relationship together, build on family, being on a first place, going for vacation together, spend Christmas together, and it's not possible. So it sometimes takes months and even years of waiting. And those third parties get stuck, and just depending on what their partner do, they completely stuck to live their own life. And of course, it has a terrible impact on their self-esteem. They face loneliness, jealousy, sadness, helplessness. There's a lot to be working on, to go through. And when such client decides they want to leave the relationship, we are creating together a vision. What is next? What is their vision for their life? What they want? And I support them to do small steps towards this vision.
So at this point in your career, what are you finding the most rewarding? What do you really enjoy about the work?
I learned I can't have attachment to what is the expected result to be. If they are happy together or if they divorce, if they find a new partner, if they make it work or not, it's up to my client. And I make it very clear and transparent from the beginning that um, the result is my client's responsibility.
Mm.
I own the process and I lead them through the process, but the result is up to them. My definition of success is progression. So as soon as my client is doing progress, I know I'm doing a good job. And it can mean whatever, depending on the goal from where we are starting with the client.
So for you personally, hobbies, passions outside the scope of your work, what do you do when you're not doing this kind of work that you really enjoy?
I'm still HR professional, so I have projects really working with the companies as in-house HR. So it's the professional part. But myself, I love being outdoor. I'm really adventurous, hiking, camping, being outdoor, trying new sports and new activities. I love yoga. It's my kind of spirituality and my body care. I do every morning, at least 20 minutes. I need to stretch my body. Otherwise, my body is really not happy. Yeah, and I honor friendships. I'm happily married, so it takes some time to take care of my partnership, and I love to spend time with my partner. What else? Yeah, I live in Seattle right now, but my roots are back home in the Czech Republic, so I travel often.
Oh,
Overseas. Yeah, busy life actually.
it sounds like you're living your best life. Okay, before we wrap, what tips or recommendations might you have for our listeners who are involved in or impacted by infidelity? And look, guys, the number one pro tip I can give you is if that's where you find yourself right now, reach out and have a conversation with Tereza. But prior to that, some things that they should be thinking about or doing or reading, let's leave them with a little something to think about.
Hmm. Um, as a coach, I don't provide advice to my clients. I lead them to find their own answers and make decisions about what is best for them because I don't know what is best for them. I just create space to find out. But generally speaking, my advice for our listeners and people who are trapped in those complex relationships, ask for help, seek professional. It might be coach, it might be therapist who can support you, and just getting outside perspective and having trustful partner you can really share whatever is on your mind without judgment, without opinion, what is right and what is not. It's real relief. I can see with my clients how they feel they are not alone. So my tip would be don't wait too long asking for help because these situations don't pass very quickly. And if 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 there is a saboteur voice, it will. It's really a saboteur voice, and these relationships can be very painful. So don't stay too long on a place, and just keep asking yourself about what's going on, how you feel, what you need, what what do you desire, if you are happy or not, and be very honest to yourself. It can be a great starting point, even without having some professional being on a journey with you.
Well, I think that is great advice. What's the best way for our listeners to connect with you and learn more about your work or maybe have that conversation with you?
The easiest way is to visit my website. It's terezabansky.com. Tereza, TerezaBansky.com. Or visit my LinkedIn, Tereza Bansky, and reach out. Happy to speak up.
Well, Tereza, this has been an incredibly informative conversation. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your story. I have no doubt that you've definitely helped me in this conversation, and I would be willing to bet quite a few others. Thank you so much for investing the time to share your story and your insight and your perspective with us today.
Thank you, Stone, for having me. It was a pleasure, and have a great day. Bye.
My pleasure. All right, until next time, this is Stone Payton for our guest today, Tereza Bansky, and everyone here at the Business RadioX family saying we'll see you in the fast lane.